What's up, everybody? It's the High School Boys of Hawaii Hale, and it's
Koli.
and Paki. We'll be talking about what it's like before states and just recapping the season a little bit. Just going over what we liked, disliked, maybe some challenges we had that we had to overcome, and just stay tuned to see what we think about this wrestling season. And always remember, Hawaiian forever. So, Koli, what was the best part of this season, you think?
Oh, I think for me, the best part of the season was when we had one of our first tournaments of the season, when we went out to Olympus, that tournament. That was the best part for me because I placed pretty high at that tournament, and after that tournament, the whole wrestling team went to a restaurant called Angie's, and the whole wrestling team, even the bus driver, we just ate something off the menu, and then me and the other boys, a couple other boys, try to do a challenge from Angie's, and that's eat like a really big bowl of ice cream, which we really didn't finish, but we did. But that was my favorite part of well, not my favorite, but the best part of this season for me. What about you, Paki? What is your best part of the season?
I'd have to say like the different experiences we had. We went to a lot of different tournaments from last year. Also experiencing the new coaches and how they coached and their philosophies. But if I had to say tournament wise, it would probably be our first tournament ever also, because not only did like I place really high and Koli, but we won our first team award ever in the school's history. So it kind of like cemented us in the school's history, and it's hanging up in our wrestling room, and that just reminded us to go out there and try our best as a team. So I think that's my favorite part of this whole experience of this wrestling season. Koli, if you had one more year, what would you do differently or improve on?
If I have one more year of high school and one more year of wrestling season, definitely work more on my shots and my bottom sequence. Working to get out of bottom position more, and as fast as I can, and learning my shots or more takedowns so that I can take my opponent down quicker and better in the matches. And maybe ultimately, maybe a little bit more conditioning. I was pretty conditioned for wrestling, but I think if I had more conditioning and just be at the top of my game on the mat, I can out-tire other opponents and finish them off within the 3 periods that we have. And yeah. What about for you, Paki? What about for you, since you have a couple more years in high school? What are you gonna do differently next year?
Be more aggressive with my hands. Definitely work on my hands a lot more, like moving them in our ties, snapping them. Also taking my shots, like actually taking shots, not just sitting there waiting. I would also want to work on like my top game, be more heavy and more pressure, cause I let them out a lot on top, so I think that's what like loses me the matches sometimes, cause when I take them down, I just let them back up, cause I really don't know what to do at the top position. Also my conditioning could have been a lot more conditioned and better, but ultimately I think it's being more aggressive is what I'm going to work on next year. So, yeah.
Paki, compared to last year's wrestling season and this year's wrestling season, what do you think are some things that are different that helped you or has changed things for you over this wrestling season?
I definitely think my like the way they coached made sure that we like understood everything like way better, other than like I want to say like last year. That's where we rushed through every move and then got as much moves as we can in one practice. But we had like days and it's like sequences, I guess. Like we went through CrossFit series, shots, and we had a whole list and stuff. But how much the coaches were involved? Because last year we only had one coach. We had like 6 coaches this year, so they really were walking around trying to help us improve our moves and make sure that we're good. And if they see something wrong, they would help us. Um, I think that's something. Also, being more aggressive than last year and being more confident in what I was doing on the mat. What about you, Koli?
Um, I think that the some things that were different this year from last year that has helped me is the way that practices are being ran by Coach Cruz this year. He has a very organized and set for the day. Every day we would walk in and our drilling and everything that we would do for practice would be on the whiteboard so that everybody knows what to do. And we'd have all the moves, sequences on the TV too to know what we're drilling. And other than that, I think we just had a better environment in the wrestling room. Definitely better attitude on the wrestling team, so everyone was able to cooperate and work together and just vibe with each other. The team chemistry was there, and yeah, that's what I liked. That and this year was just it was more fun than last year's. Paki, what was the hardest part of this wrestling season, and what part of it will you miss the most?
Um, I think the hardest thing that like we've done this season was after we lost like I think it was, I'm not sure, but we lost really bad at a tournament or a duel. We got to practice one day, and then Coach Cruz was like, we were gonna do a lot of these moves that he was thinking in his head, but then he said he threw it out the window because he thought that we needed more toughness and conditioning. So we did like 90 minutes straight live, and then like the only way we really, the only way we could stop was both partners would agree to leave the room, and that's the only way we stopped. But it helped us push, and we got we got through it, and then nobody quit, so that was good. But I think the thing I'm gonna miss most is the seniors' leadership. Their leadership this year was a lot more engaged, and like they weren't just like to themselves. Basically, I would say from last year's ones, they were so to themselves. Like they weren't really there for the team; they were there for them. Except like 2 or 3 of them, that was really actually there. But these seniors now, they like engage with the team, talk to them, hang out. We try and hang out like a lot. Um, like conversation wise, it's not only about wrestling the whole time. We really talk about like what's outside of life and what's happening. That's what I think is I'm gonna miss the most. What about you, Koli?
Oh, for me, I think the hardest part of the wrestling season is just the beginning, like getting into the wrestling season and just coming off from football or just generally starting it up because at first I still didn't like it because a lot of movement and stuff, a lot of sweating and grinding, and just yeah, a lot of movements. But after like a couple of weeks, I was feeling better and more in the groove and more in tune with the wrestling and stuff. So that was definitely great about it. But the best part of this wrestling season for me was when Cole Surge came to practice, and him and Coach Cruz coached us for one practice, and coasters conditioned us also. And why I like that is because we had like a whole crazy circuit with like boxing and jump roping and stance in motion with bands, and it's like all these like crazy little stations, and coasters would be in the middle of the stations, and he would have a whistle, and every time he blew it, everyone in the room would stop what they're doing, no matter what station they're in, and they would sprawl and say, "I love my life," or "I love to do this stuff." And yeah, that was really great to see everyone working hard, and no matter how hard we're sweating or whatever, suffering during that short little time of conditioning, whenever coasters blew the whistle, everyone just always remembered to yell out that they love their life and they love to do this stuff and they want to be great. And yep, that's it for me.
Koli, are you ready for states, and how did you prepare?
Yeah. I think I'm ready for states. To prepare for states, like I said before in the previous videos, I just gotta work on all three sides of my wrestling game. You know, I'll work on my shots, working on my top and bottom work. Learning how to get good hip pressure every time and following good hips. You know, getting out from bottom as fast as I can, and learning more takedowns, effective takedowns, so I can try pin the guy as fast as I can, not earn as much points. But ultimately, I feel pretty ready for states. This week of practice has been a nice week to go over everything that I've learned and want to try to use for this tournament. So, yeah, just stay tuned and we'll see. Paki, are you going to JV states?
No, I'm not. Sadly, I'm not going. It's not that I didn't make it. I just had a little bit of an injury that held me back from going to states. So I'm just trying to get my injury healed and fixed before any of my other sports will recontinue. But just a minor setback that I have to bounce back from and come back from even stronger. But sadly, I'm not going to states or JV states. But I'll be here cheering on Koli, making sure he does good, and hopefully he places. Well, that's the end of this week's video. Come back next week to see how Koli does at states. Also, to see what's happening and just go through what I do and what Koli does at states. See if he places. See what's next after our wrestling season, and what sport we'll do next. And always remember, Hawaiian forever. That's all.